So we've literally covered almost all aspects of commerce, the way we see it today and the way we drive it today. There are a couple more sessions left. And for this, can I ask you to please drive your imagination a little wild? Can you imagine a fire here? Yeah, because we're going to have a fireside chat without the fire. And in charge will be Vikram Idnani, who's the Senior Vice President, Head of Technology at Reliance Retail. And joining him on stage would be Samik Roy, Country Head, Modern Workplace, Microsoft India. They would be discussing in terms of how to leverage technology to drive digital transformation in enterprises. So all yours, gentlemen.
So I too was picturing in my head that there'd be a nice fire, we'd have a cozy chat, but it looks like it's going to be a little under the lights. Okay, so Siju, I hope this is the second last session of the day, so I don't think we will need to save your time and give you back any time. Yeah. Okay, so all day long, we've been listening to data, listening about data, millennials, speed, nimbleness, all of that good stuff. One of the things that's been playing in my mind is that to address all of these, you've got so many startups, small organizations that have come up which are pretty nimble and providing point solutions to many retailers. Retailers are obviously happy to now take these kinds of solutions because they solve their immediate problems. What plagues my mind is we've got companies like IBM's, SAP's, and the Microsofts of the world which have been traditionally into, in the past into the big box kind of solutions. And how are they responding to this? Or not so much about responding, maybe more about what do they think about various aspects that we're going to just talk about right now, yeah? So my sessions go with Samik Roy, who heads modern workplace at Microsoft. My session's going to cover three aspects. One is on customer experience. Then I would get into data and what his views are on usage of data. And the third piece would be about cloud, okay, and how we adopt cloud for speed, etc. So let me just get started with that. So I was talking about this current environment, which is about speed, nimbleness, all of that good stuff. And customer experience is a kind of the hot sort of focus area for many companies. Why don't you share a little bit about what do you think about customer experience? What's your view on customer experience in today's environment?
Sure. So I think first we need to understand what does customer experience want and what it is. Because every organization can have a different definition of customer experience. So for example, for a selling organization, a customer experience can be what's the selling experience or the buying experience of a customer. So if it's an online organization, it's about how well the customer went through the journey of filling in the shopping cart and buying. For a brick and mortar, it's about how good was the experience of the customer and the interaction with the seller on the floor. So that can be a customer experience. For some people, the customer experience can be anything from anonymity to advocacy. What does it mean? And anonymity is when I don't know the individual and the individual does not know me. To the time it went through a particular process and I sold to the individual and now we have a relationship. And then we nurtured the relationship to sell more to the customer. And eventually the customer has become my advocate. And that can be a customer journey. To some organizations, it's about loyalty. It's about how much are you buying from me. It's about what I call as the wallet share. To some people, it's the market share which defines customer experience. To some people, it's the mind share. Am I the top of the mind recall? To some people, it's about the heart share. That will the customer be loyal to me no matter what? So I think there are different definitions, and it's important to understand what does an organization actually mean when they talk about customer experience. So for example, I might buy 5 things from a particular outlet, which is an online store. And the 5 things are delivered 5 times across 3 days. Is that a good experience or a bad experience? Right? And it depends. The person might say, hey, I delivered you 5 things and I gave a promotion and I gave a discount. But from a customer perspective, yes, but I had to wait 5 times to take that delivery. That may not be a good experience. So it's important to understand what is the customer looking at. But coming to the basic thing is, I think over a period of time, organizations have become better in whichever way you measure customer experience. And I will give a lot of credit to that, to the internet and to the social world. Internet, because internet has truly made 24 hours shopping anything, anywhere, any place, any price available to a customer. That's a great achievement. The entire world of social media has made organizations suddenly spring up to what is the customer saying. What does it mean? If you go back a previous years, a customer is unhappy on the shop floor, he or she will write something on the logbook. I don't know how many people ever turned the logbook and saw what the customer wrote and got back. Then came the era where you wrote an email or you wrote at the customer's site. You get very standard answers. But today, if you write on the social site or you tweet, organizations will suddenly spring up because you know that that particular tweet goes and impacts a lot more people. And that's how I think the customer experience has slowly become better over a period of time.
So let me pause you on this one. So my takeaway from that is customer experience means different things for different people, right? And every organization is defining it the way they want to and providing that experience. Fine. So one of the things that I guess is enabling this, various types, various definitions of customer experience is technology, right? We've got various things like AI, machine learning, visual search, voice-based search, all of that stuff happening. Keeping this in mind, and being from Microsoft on the tech forefront, what do you feel these technologies, how do you feel these technologies will shape up to serve customer experience maybe over the next 2-3 years? How do you see that, and which ones do you feel are kind of being picked up, where genuine use cases are actually coming out?
Sure. So in our opinion, data, AI, machine learning will be the new currency. So even if you look at, I'm sorry, I'm digressing a bit, but even if you look at the industrial revolutions, which we are calling it, the first industrial revolution was the steam engine, where locomotive came in, the steam. The second industrial revolution was electricity, which made everything faster and made everything better. The third industrial revolution was the invent of microprocessors. That's where laptops, tablets, phones, etc. came in. And the fourth industrial revolution is about the digital transformation. And data and AI is so core to digital transformation. This will bring in the entire aspect of personalization, independent of which is the person, which is the machine, at which time is interacting with the customer. And that, I think, will change the entire way in which we start interacting with customers.
So are you saying that data is going to be the main kind of factor that's going to play out to help customer experience? Then I think let's shift on to the data side of things.
Sure.
Okay. And my question there would be, a lot of organizations talk about data, understanding my customer, getting some actionables out of it, doing something to their customer, right? But in reality, you've interacted with so many retailers, right? Do you see anyone, or what do you see the level of maturity or understanding or use of data by retail organizations?
Okay, it differs from industry to industry, and it also depends on what kind of a retailer you are. In our opinion, we have noticed that people who are in the e-commerce space, they really utilize data much better than the others. But think of it, from their perspective, they don't have the opportunity to interact with the customer face-to-face or a prospect face-to-face.
So did you say online, the online guys are using it better?
Yeah, the online guys.
I'd differ with that, because I think coming with the background of offline and online, I would say offline guys use it a lot more. But we'll debate on that maybe a little bit.
Because they are just using it to catch trends, they're using it to quickly give the customer what else can they buy. They understand what the past buying behavior is on the fly, right? But when you go into a shop floor, It's the ability to empower the person out there to understand the customer at that point of time, correct? That's where not many organizations have made the leap. You can do it, correct? Organizations which have gone far ahead can do it because they said, hey, if I can do it online, why can't I do it in the offline model? Absolutely right. But you asked about experience. Very few organizations have been able to take data and empower the seller to be able to have that interaction. Mostly you would see the data and the information out there is a lot about loyalty, that I understand you as a loyalty customer, and that is about it. I'll give you a very small example. Let's say you check into hotels, which have a chain of hotels. I've just taken a different industry. And in one hotel or one property you go, they treat you like a king. You know, you'll get wine, you get free pickup, you get free delivery, they will iron your clothes.
Tell me where I get free wine. I like that.
Oh, there are many of them, okay? So if you go to a hotel, same hotel chain, you go to a property in a different city, and they will take your ID card, and that's, of course, that's a government thing, but they will ask you questions, smoking, non-smoking room, correct? Now, this is where I say that an organization has not understood customer service, and the organization has not used data. It's the same chain. You use me as a king here, and you have used me as a person who has entered the hotel for the first time. But the data should have told you that, hey, if this person is given these rights out here, give them the same rights out here. And that's where I think AI, machine learning will come and increase the customer satisfaction levels.
Okay. So you talked about hospitality industry, right? Hotels. From a retail point of view, you said the online guys are using data probably, in your view, a lot better. I'd say the offline retailers have been good at collecting huge amounts of data at this point, maybe not using it to the level that they should. They've done a good job at segmenting customers and being able to target certain customers. But I do take your point, actually, that they probably haven't empowered their guys in the stores to, or at a lower level, to be able to use that data a lot effectively. I think that's a good point. So let's, and I think that does address the point I was going to talk about, is what should retailers do to empower their folks to use data more effectively? Do you see any specific areas other than empowering my own folks? How should retailers probably use data a lot better than they are doing today? Both online and offline, and maybe you might want to address the omni-channel piece, actually, both guys.
Sure. So see, data in itself has also gone through a long journey. So we started with data just being in data lakes and data warehouses and being used as a back-end stuff. So then they went from data, then we went to static reporting, then we went to reporting, we went to dashboards, then we went to insights. The most important aspect is, when does the data become an insight and help you to take an action? And our thing is that it's very difficult to do all of this analysis and paralysis. But if the system can do it on its own, if the algorithms can do it on its own on the fly, and then empower the person from a technology perspective to what to do, instead of creating a human angle in there, is how do I quickly bring this data and understand? But if the technology can say, hey, Vikram is a very important person, he's a VIP, this is the way he's treated, this is his past record, please talk this to him, correct? Then that will make the things better. And that's where artificial intelligence and machine learning will come in. Because that's the job of artificial intelligence and machine learning. More the training of the data, the more less error prone it will be, better will be your customer experience. Yeah, and then it's not dependent on whether the person out there recognizes you or no.
Yeah, exactly. So I think I was reading up one of the McKinsey reports on customer experience. And that's exactly the similar point that they brought up, that there are a couple of startups who are focusing on enabling an online person. So let's say someone is browsing a site. They are not only observing where the person moves around, but the speed of the mouse, the amount of time spent on a certain, before clicking on a certain link. So they're going to that level on data, not just looking at clickstream, but actually looking at amount of time, the speed of the mouse. That was a little, surprising to me. But yeah, that's how it is. Speed of the scroll, when I say mouse, really, that's what it is. Okay. Coming about AI, ML, and various other technologies, visual search. Another example I have, which I saw was Tommy Hilfiger is probably one of the known brands, which has enabled something called as an instant search. Okay, so if I'm at a fashion week and I'm seeing these guys, these ladies or these guys walking on a ramp, I'm able to click a picture instantly and be able to purchase the product right there and then. So that's the speed at which I guess things are going. Any examples you want to share on how these AI, ML, visual search, voice-based search that you have come across where retailers are effectively like using these well, or at least starting to use it?
Sure, I can give you an example. So if you actually go to YouTube, you can search on that, Microsoft and Kruger. So Kruger is one of the retail organizations, and we have started this project with them. So this is for shopping for those people who are in a hurry, right? So we have started this concept. It says that you scan, you bag, and you pay, right? So you go into the shop, and you pick up this particular instrument. You can also do it from your own phone. You download an app, and you say that these are the things which I want to shop. Then the instrument or the app starts guiding you along the aisle on the shortest distance to the thing which you need to pick up. Everything in the aisle is digital, and it moves on runtime. So depending upon what the need is, what is the demand, what is the inventory, what is the supply, you can increase or decrease the price. You suddenly put a particular offer. So this person takes that particular device or the phone, takes a particular bag, goes to that particular thing, picks up the particular stuff, and just scans it out there. And as you are scanning, again, the system automatically is throwing different kind of promotions and freebies at the particular person. And also based on the person's historic record is saying that you may want to pick up this and you may want to pick up this, and all the market basket analysis. At the end of it, every shopping list and everything is there on the app. You pay, you keep that instrument back, and you move. Just think of technology, AI, ML, everything coming together, and the amount of productivity and improvement both for the selling organization, as well as the customer. It is just amazing.
So actually, I want to discuss that point a little bit. Okay, you are enabling a customer to very quickly find the aisle, right, that they want to purchase the product from. I mean, I'm not very convinced that that's the best case. It might be great in a food scenario where you typically are coming in to buy a product, you know exactly what you want to buy.
This was food, Kruger.
Okay, this was food, Kroger, right, correct, yeah. Okay, if it's fashion and lifestyle, actually I'm coming for an experience. I'm coming to just hang around, check out a few things, and then go. So I think we have to also be careful about how we start using these technologies. Otherwise, you will end up not getting them adopted by customers, right? You don't want to drive somebody into my store and push them to the aisles. So I think that's a good point.
So I just took an example, and you're absolutely right. This was about food and
makes sense. Yeah. Okay, so just shifting gears a little bit, with the some cases of breaches of data, with so much tech coming in. There's even facial recognition, for example, that's happening, right? I'm now able to recognize the person, which means my information, very personal information, is now stored on somebody else's computer. That's great for efficiency and creating a nice experience, but obviously the risk of data breach is always there. And we've had big organizations have these data breaches. What do you feel as a service provider, as Microsoft, which is touting, modern workplace, for example, how are you building confidence with retailers that this is not an issue, or this is an issue that should not be coming out into the open?
I think it's a very good question. And as I say, that data will become the currency. It's the security angle becomes more and more important, right? It's just like that. If gold is the most valuable thing, the security of the gold will be most valuable, because whoever has got access to it can just misuse it. So Microsoft is doing a lot of work around it. And if you go a few years ago, we were the first multinational who built data centers in India. That was a promise to Narendra Modi, and we delivered it 6 months before time. Because we are so focused on the security of the data. So we have this entire aspect that we call as responsible AI. We are going to design principles of AI, working with governments, writing the policy papers with governments to see where should AI be used, the way it should be designed, and where should AI not be used. Because if AI is used for a wrong purpose, then you just accelerate something in an incorrect manner. So there's a lot of work that we are doing as Microsoft around it. And that's why, we have heard this term, Microsoft runs on trust. We are extremely particular about, the way the data is used and the policies and the governance and the compliance and all of those aspects.
Sure. So I think there should be a term called ethical AI, if I have to say so. Probably that's more relevant for organizations like yours. But fine, that's about using AI, using the right type of AI or at the right place, right? What about the fact that information is going out? I mean, is there any controls or any mechanisms that retailers must be worried about sharing information in the first place at all? Are you seeing those situations, and is there anything specific Microsoft would be doing?
So it's the area of policy and governance that we work across in those areas, both along with the retailers, with the industry, as well as with the ecosystem and the government, where we are writing those things to ensure that that pilferage does not happen.
So I'm going to cut short a little bit on my cloud questions. I have one question to ask more on the cloud, just for people out here, right, who might be relevant. For retailers who are a little conscious about coming onto the cloud, they will naturally feel that all of my information suddenly being opened up and I will not have control. Would there be any tips or any guidelines or any advice you would want to give to these guys that does the cloud really help, and what steps they might want to take to move on to the cloud in a secure and safe manner?
Sure. So first things first, cloud is the way to go. If you're not going cloud, you're actually driving a car in a reverse gear. Okay, very clear. It will just improve your efficiency. It helps you focus on your business. You don't have to worry about infrastructure, scalability. It's all these governance and all these aspects belong to the OEM. So it's a faster method of going online and getting to business. Second aspect is don't worry about security. Security is of paramount importance for organizations like ours, because if anything happens, then our entire data center and our entire business will come to a stop. Just think about it. If a bank cannot keep its locker secure, then nobody will go to the bank and secure the locker, correct? But you can be absolutely rest assured that the most secure place is the bank in a locker. Okay? So cloud is the way to go. And it will give you a lot of benefits. It will always keep you updated. You will have the latest version. You don't have to think about migrations and updates, and this is all our stuff. Just think about it. Today you use a smartphone. Okay, well, if anybody tells you to use a phone which is not a smartphone, you won't be able to use it. You will just not be relevant out there. So cloud is the way to go. There are enough aspects. Look at the security documents. Have the data in the India data center. Have it, you can have the data only belonging to you in the machines which you own. So all of these security layers are all out there. And it's the fastest way to get online.
Yeah, I think fastest, and I think one of the key points is your CapEx. You don't need to spend that kind of CapEx to build that kind of disaster recovery and all that stuff. It's already there. Okay, good, great. Siju, we managed to go a little over time, but that's fine.
Thank you, thank you.
Mind, both Vikram and Samik will be more than keen, happy to take it offline. So, one question? Okay, just one question.
Hi, myself Kaushik. Probably my question will support Mr. Vikram as well. Question to Mr. Roy over here. The instrument what you talk about in modern retail.
Yeah, can you just take the mic closer to you?
Sure. In modern retail, what instrument you spoke about, it will help the consumer to go to the right aisle. But the negativity goes here, although it's for a planned purchase, it helps very well. But the impulse purchase, traffic reduces. And number two, in modern retail, there are some spots created. You can say the paid spots, Vikram will support over here, where the traffic or visibility goes suddenly on the lower side. Probably that instrument can create a loss to the modern retail. So how we can take it?
Yeah, so probably you missed the first line which I said. This was specifically for customers who are in a hurry and they want to pick up things quickly. So it was keeping the customer in mind that this scenario is created. So just go to YouTube and just say Microsoft and Kruger. That is the very objective of this shopping experience. And I'm not negating, I'm completely in sync with what he's saying. The impulse experience, why do you create an ale like that way? Because when you go through, you suddenly pick up and want to try something.
So Kaushik, just to add to what Samik just told you, I think, so we did discuss that it's very relevant in case of a planned purchase. When I'm doing a fashion and lifestyle purchase, I want the experience. I want to just hang around, as we said, right? So yeah, that's a fair point. You don't want to drive a customer, and you'd rather create a good experience. So using these kinds of technologies sensibly is most important. It's not just tech for tech's sake.
So thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Good round of applause for these gentlemen here. And Vikram, if you could just help me with a memento for Samik. Thank you, gentlemen.